Hey, it's Dezm 101 and I'm back with another video. This time my game room is set back up and I'm gonna show it to you guys as a little special. It's been a while, a couple months that it's actually been down for, but I'm very happy to say that we've got some new flooring installed after the flooding. If you recall, I talked about that in a previous video, and I've upgraded a few things and expanded the collection a little bit, nothing massive, just kind of a nice humble collection that has a well curated bit of games in here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a tour of the updated game room that I'll be very happy to show you, and I'll also give you some tips on how I set up my consoles for live streaming through this setup, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, and then just some updates for the channel and what to expect going ahead. So let's check it out. So let's talk about the games. First up here is the Sega Genesis section along with the NES games. Now I have not had a chance to organize them yet. That'll be happening here soon in the coming days and weeks. And the NES collection, as you might notice, has grown quite a bit from my last video. So it's probably the system that I've been collecting for the most in the last year or so. Still not a ton of new games. I do have pretty much all the Mega Man now. There's Mega Man 1, 2, 3, and 6. And then I have 4 and 5 in the Famicom collection. So there's a recent pickup there, Rockman 5. And there is another, Rockman 4 here. So that's all the NES and Famicom Mega Man games. Really happy to have those. And a bunch of other random titles. So I've been pretty happy with expanding this collection. It's been a really great console to collect for, and one of the most memorable and ones I'm fond of in my mind, nostalgia-wise. Here's a bunch of arcade sticks. The Saturn one back there. A couple Saturn sticks in the box. Dreamcast. NES Advantage, Super Nintendo Advantage, and that's a Hori multi-stick that works with the Super Famicom or Super NES. And still got more that don't fit. Still figuring that out. Probably get another shelf. But there's the PlayStation ASCII pad, their arcade stick, and then the Genesis collection has grown a bit. Been really happy to add some 32X games in there, especially Mortal Kombat 2 and Shadow Squadron, as well as some of these other ones. So the Genesis collection has been growing a bit, but there's still a lot I want to get. A lot of shoot 'em ups, of course. There's Sagaya, aka Darius 2, a really great Sega Genesis shooter. And there's the Saturn Twin arcade stick. You'll see lots of these Nintendo Power posters around. That's the Strider one. And if we go over here to this shelf, here's all the Sega CD games. It's definitely one of my favorite sets that I have of games here, just because I'm a huge Sega CD fan. And then beneath it, we've got the PS1, 3DO, and Dreamcast games. So I don't have a ton of Dreamcast games. I used to have more PS1 games a long time ago, but this is what I have right now. Some good ones. Doom is in there, Wipeout XL, Wipeout 3, Omega Boost. Some pretty good titles. And as far as Dreamcast, I got like House of the Dead 2, Guilty Gear X. This one is maybe my favorite, Marvel vs. Capcom. The first one, really like that game, like the 2D backgrounds. Here's the boxed NES section. Kind of hard to tell because it's got Nintendo Power number 1 in there and the Famicom Mario 3, but if you move this Mario 3, you can see some more of the box games, and there's more behind it there. I don't want to move it right now, so we're still figuring that out as far as how I want it to be displayed, but I'm pretty happy with the way it is right now. There's a Life Force cart, That Arkanoid 2 box. Down here we've got the portables, so PSP section. There's a PSP Go in the case, regular PSP, bunch of PSP games in there, not a ton, and then a little stack of 3DS games and an old 3DS, regular size. I normally play on a 3DS XL, so I just keep this one in here for display. And there's a Mayflash arcade stick. It's good for PS3. I've been using it on PS TV with that little Titan adapter, and the Wii guns for the Wii. And head over to this section. So this case has the Saturn games at the top, and these are all my US Saturn games and some repros in there. And up here, Sonic is guarding these import Saturn games. Got a few of them in there. And then here is the PS3 games. There's Ketsui. Pretty good little stash. There's some more there behind the game too. Ghostbusters, Killzone 3, LA Noire. Xbox 360. Including Raiden Fighters. Pretty awesome game. Shoot 'em up. And then down here we've got regular Xbox, along with Wii and GameCube games. There's like Metroid Prime games, Star Wars Rogue Leader, F-Zero. Pretty good little stash of games. Not a huge set of Wii or GameCube. And here at the bottom, hard to see, but it's PS2 games. And there's a bunch more behind those two on the end, but those are the ones I like to display. So that's pretty much the games collection. And then here I've got all my controllers stored. They're not organized really great, but I'm able to find them in there. And then some other odds and ends and controllers stuff in there. Then over here we've got all kinds of video equipment. So connectors, cables, adapters, upscalers, all kinds of gaming tech and goodies in here. So if you want to just play some traditional gaming on a regular CRT, and in this area we've got Sega Genesis, some extra controllers, some extra arcade sticks there, the Xbox, and this is a knockoff NES there, a Hyperkin, and there's the 3DO, of course. Really love the 3DO console. And so those are just all easily switchable from that little switch there, and I generally don't record from this setup, although you can if you split the signal, or it's a little easier if you're using like the 3DO because it has a separate video out for S-Video that you can record from. The other ones, you might have to split the signal, which isn't always the best idea. Depends on if you're just splitting it once, it might have signal degradation for that reason. Okay, and let's check out the main setup. So that's a 43-inch Vizio TV. I've had it for a few years. It works pretty good. And a surround sound with the soundbar there. And there's the subwoofer down in the corner. It's pretty good. And we'll start up over here. So the Sega Saturn is the first one that we'll see. And it's hooked up via SCART. And the way that I have these plugged in is that the SCART systems, PS2, Saturn, and Genesis, come into this switch where I can switch it based on these buttons here. And then the switch goes into here, into the OSSC. So this is a really great upscaler. It's not the best, but it's definitely one of the best, and I'm very happy with it. I'll probably eventually get a RetroTink 5X, which might be the best one out there now. But still, this one is pretty great. But you can see I'm running VGA from the Dreamcast, SCART from that switch, and then even component. Those are Wii component cables. So you can have them all plugged in there, and then it's sending an HDMI output up into this switch here, the Rasfox switch. And it's a 5-input switch. And then in the next spot, we've got the Super NT, which I got recently. I still need to get like an FX Pack Pro for it. This is just a multi-card, and I'm running a lot of games off of the SD card, but it's pretty awesome, pretty incredible system. I didn't have a regular Super Nintendo, I had a SNES Mini. I mean, a long time ago I had a Super Nintendo, but I ended up giving it away to a friend. Long story, talk about it another time. And then if we come down over here, PS2 is creeping on the side. Still haven't figured out if that's where I want to keep it, but for right now it's good. And then there's the Wii with a game a new game that I got, Transformers. I want to check it out. It's supposed to be a good rail shooter. Definitely try it out here soon. And here's the Dreamcast, which my Dreamcast is actually recently modded with one of these SD cards, so you can run games just directly from there. And this is a Brook adapter, which lets me play things like PlayStation 3 controllers and joysticks with the Dreamcast. Very handy if you're not a big fan of the regular Dreamcast controller. And over here, PS3. Really love the PS3, a lot of good games I have on there. And I love using it as like watching my Blu-ray movies and stuff. Retro USB, AVS, and other awesome console. This one runs your NES games. And I'd like to do an update video to talk about how it's been over the years using it. And it's been great, basically. It's a really awesome system. And the only other thing left here is the Xbox 360, which is in that spot. There's some controller cases or holders for charging it. And then there's the TurboGrafx and the Super NES Mini systems. So that's pretty much it here. And I also just want to quickly show you the music room. So if you follow me on Twitch, you know that I like to do DJ streams, which I wasn't able to do for a while. You can get a good view of how the floor looks now. It used to be really cheap carpeting in here. Carpeting was better in the other room, but still it wasn't great. So here's all these figures you may remember from my background and my earlier videos. So that bar has been taken apart and moved out, and now all the like Ninja Turtles figures and Transformers, they all are in here. And below that is my Nintendo Power collection, which I have quite a few of. They're all stacked in here. So each stack is probably, I don't know, like over half a foot deep. So there's a lot of magazines in there. Not the whole set, but quite a few Nintendo Powers, and then some video gaming books there. Over here we've got some CDs, more figures, a bunch of my CDs, and here is the DJ setup. So I actually just got this set up recently also, and this is what's been salvaged of the bar. So that was the front of the bar. I just modified it a little bit and took it apart. But this is the DJ setup now. And we got some nice monitor stands there. And over there is my desk where I set up for streaming and doing video editing and stuff like that. So this room is also nicely improved, but still trying to figure out the best way to accommodate all my stuff. Here's some more books and some paintings that I'm still figuring out how I want to decorate. There's those Akira books, highly recommended, some manga and comics. So that's about it for the tour. Nothing spectacular, but definitely an upgrade from what it was before. You can come back and see what it's like walking in the game room from this direction. There's DVDs over there in that far area. And a bit more gaming themed stuff over here. These posters didn't actually get moved, so nothing really new to see there. This is from Nefarious West. Check him out if you're not already subscribed to him. An awesome YouTuber. But yeah, the stuff over here is just more video game stuff. Frame picture of Gradius 2 art. Metal Storm poster. Check this out. Super old McDonald's car. And a bunch of these figures are here. Those are another thing I'm still kind of figuring out where I want to put them. But they're just kind of hanging out here for now. Some Mega Man stuff. old Legend of Zelda poster. Some of these mini arcades. Lots of Transformers and stuff around. My Contra artwork. Okay, so let's talk about how to get this out to capture device. Now, the main way that I accomplish this is with this one little tool, and that's a splitter. Now, this one particularly has copy protection removal, so you can run your PS3 through it and Xbox 360 and it will remove any copy protection on the output signals. You just put one input there and it gives you two outputs. One of them goes directly into the TV and the other one goes out to your capture card. Now, other people might do a setup where they just run the capture card before the TV and then put the output to the TV. A lot of times you can get some extra lag depending on your card. So I don't really like that. I think that you can do it that way if you need to, if you can't find one of these splitters. But this is a preferable way for me, at least. And the cards that you use really depends. So this one right here is a generic one that I got on a recommendation from a while back, so I don't even know if these exact ones are available. You can find something very similar to it. What's special about this one is that it will take just about any resolution that you throw at it, even if it's like, you know, 5x mode on a Sega Saturn, which is a really weird setting as far as the TV and this device recognizing it. If I try to put 5x mode from the Saturn into something like this Aver Media Live Gamer Portable, it won't recognize it. I have to do it in like a normal format, like 1280 by 720, or you know, one of those well recognizable ones that's normal scale for like the larger resolution consoles. But if it's like some kind of weird numbers, or generally if it's from a retro console that runs with, it's not in widescreen, then it's generally not going to figure it out. And this one's pretty good, but like I said before, it's kind of tricky to find. And I also have a USB capture device that's good for just gathering footage when I don't want to have to plug in the laptop and everything. So these are the ways that I do it, and it makes it rather simple. You just interrupt that HDMI input into the TV itself, run one of the outputs to here, and then plug this into your laptop and run OBS, and you're ready to go. So I hope that's clear enough. Let me know if you have any questions. For someone who's running everything through the OSSC pretty much, right? So it's either SCART or it's VJ from the Dreamcast or Component. And then from the OSSC, it goes into that switch, the HDMI switch, where I can go ahead and from the output of that run it through here. And that's how I accomplish that. If you made it to this part of the video, I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching this far, and just want to let you know that I'm still currently really extremely busy working 2 jobs right now, one part-time, one full-time, and so the YouTube stuff is definitely not the biggest priority for me right now, but I do have a lot of things in the works, a lot of ideas that I want to get out, and the latest episode of Gradius Lore is still in writing. It's basically the first draft is done. I'm just trying to do some rewrites and some edits to really spice it up and keep it very interesting and entertaining for everyone out there. And I'm just going to keep plugging away. Alright, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you have a good one. I'll see you next time.